Hi, I'm Nico, an Irish chef with Jamaican roots. And my passion for food and love for flavour combinations have brought me all over the world. Always nice to put a bit of rhythm into your coleslaw. And I want to share these flavours, tips and discoveries with you. From beautiful breakfasts to mouth-watering lunches to dinners, even delicious desserts. Everything tastes better when you cook it over fire. You've never had a burger like it. Let me show you how to up your grilling game so you can barbecue like a pro, whatever the weather. Let's get fired up. The breakfast roll. It's one of those meals that's always there when you need it the most, whether you're recovering from the night before or you just need something hearty to set you up for the day. Bacon, egg, pudding, sausage, all rinsed in ketchup. Doesn't get much better than this. Well, I've got a motto. Anything you can cook inside, you can cook outside, only better. Today, I've got some barbecued recipes for breakfast, lunch, and dinner that are going to be better than anything you will ever cook in the kitchen. For lunch, a smoked chickpea and grilled veggie flatbread. For dinner, 2 easy and tasty ways to cook salmon over the coals. But let's start at the beginning. So for my breakfast sandwich, I'm going to be using pork belly instead of bacon, and I'm going to be serving it up in a Waterford Blaa. And if you've never had the pleasure of trying one of these things, it's like flour, water, and a fluffy cloud in a nice bread roll. Now, I know you think it might be a lot of effort to light your charcoal barbecue just to make breakfast, but this chimney starter is going to make the job so much more seamlessly. If you're like me, you just want all the guesswork taken out of it. All you need to do is get yourself some lighter cubes here that you can get these almost anywhere. Look how simple this is. Leave it like that. Your fire should be ready in about 15 minutes. Give you the perfect embers. The way I've always seen charcoal and the way I'd like for you to see it as well is it's like a seasoning, like your salt and pepper just on the side of your plate. It adds an extra dimension to every dish and it's incomparable to any other flavour. So it's been about 15 minutes now and the coals are exactly where we need them to be. A bit flaky and they stopped smoking at the side. Being very, very careful because this is the part where the most accidents can happen. Now what we're looking for is that perfect little flake there. You've got our embers just glowing, ready for our breakfast blaa. I'm using some quality assured pork belly here. You can obviously use bacon too, but I just love the fatty texture on the barbecue of pork belly. Some salt, some pepper. So I've got 2 zones on my barbecue here. I've got my direct side, which is all the heat, and then got my indirect side, which is kind of like the retreat zone, the cooler side. Because a lot of the mistakes I see people making, especially with the sausage, is they put it directly over the coals. It's just gonna burn your meat instantly. This is why we use the indirect side, to bring everything up to temp, and you're still getting the flavor of the coals, like that seasoning we talked about. Don't be shy with the salts. A lot of it's gonna fall through the grill anyway. I'm just gonna wash my hands. Now, while my meat is cooking, no breakfast sandwich is complete without a sauce to rinse it in. Now, I think I've come up with the perfect barbecue sauce that's going to be a mix of the classic American barbecue sauce and that brown sauce we like to smother on our sandwiches in Ireland. First ingredient is apples. I'll take 2 apples here and peel them. I'm just going to core the apples. Just makes it easier so you don't have to do it on the other side of the cook. 1 whole onion. Now, I'm just gonna leave the skin on because we just want to char on the outside and then a bit of steam on the inside just so it softens. So I'm just gonna put the apples and the onions on this imaginary line where the direct heat and the indirect heat meet. Because what we're looking to do is just get that barbecue flavor in, that char, that smokiness, that beautiful seasoning we're talking about. Next step, we're gonna heat up some vinegar and then we're gonna hydrate our dates. Now, it doesn't need to be boiling, we just want to heat it up. Down in the southern US, they like to use mustard in their barbecue sauce, but today we're going to be using mustard seeds. And to get all the oils and that beautiful aroma out, just give them a little toast first until they start dancing. While everything is doing its work here, we're going to start in the base of our sauce. Use a bit of ginger and some garlic. Now, I like to take the skin off the ginger with a spoon. It's just one of those ingredients I hate wasting. Ugh. The easy way to skin your garlic. Gives you a nice aroma as well. Now to speed up this process, I'm just going to use a microplane. It's going to take all the hard chopping work out of it. Same with the ginger. There's a nice instrument down in South America they use called a rachador, which means a grater. And it's just a... You can imagine the music, can't you? Now, my vinegar has come to a nice temperature here. We don't want it to boil, we just want it to rehydrate the dates. So all that beautiful sugar mixes in with the vinegar to make a beautiful sauce. I'm gonna add a little bit of oil, just enough to cover the bottom. My mustard seeds have started to pop. Ooh, beautiful, toasty, mustardy aroma. We're gonna add our minced garlic and ginger. Now, we don't want this on a super high heat, just a little sizzle. Now at this stage, about 3 or 4 minutes in, we're gonna add 3 teaspoons of tomato paste, always with the rhythm. We're just gonna mix that around. I'm gonna add a little bit of seasoning, just a pinch of salt, and a little pinch of pepper. I'm just gonna leave these ingredients to get to know each other a little bit in the pot while we see how our apples and onions are getting on. Now they're nice and soft. Just look at this little char. That's exactly what we want. I'm gonna chop our apples up and our onions. Just a rough chop. And add them to the party. Cook this down for about 2 or 3 minutes, just so we can get the apples and the onions covered in the oil. Gotta say, it's my favorite part. That initial waft means there's a good meal on the way. Now we're gonna move over to our date vinegar now. And you can see they've come all nice and soft, and the sugar has mixed with the vinegar. And we're gonna add this, dates and all. Now while this whole process is going on, we just want this at a gentle simmer. We don't really want to boil it too much. We just want the vinegar and all the flavors to evaporate and combine and just make this beautiful sauce that's perfect for any meal. Our last few ingredients, some Worcestershire sauce, 2 tablespoons just to give it that pucker. Now spice is a subjective measurement, but I'm going to be using about a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. Now I'm going to be using 100 grams of a dark brown sugar. This is muscovado sugar, and it's going to add an extra layer of richness that's going to just bind everything together to make a nice, sticky, glorious sauce. We'll give it a little mix. Now there are a few elements in this sauce, but if you keep it bottled in the fridge, it's going to last with you about 3 months. So that's coming up to boil. I'm just going to turn the heat down, pop the lid on, and let it simmer. Let all those flavors combine. Our pork belly and sausage have come right up to temperature. But what breakfast would be complete without a fried egg? How do you do a fried egg on a barbecue? Let me show you. What we're gonna do is we're gonna make a little boat out of our pepper and just put it directly on the grill. Just gonna remove the inside core. The great thing about these red peppers is they're quite resilient on the grill. So I'm gonna put them in between that line where the direct and the indirect side meet. I'm gonna crack an egg inside. I think these eggs deserve a bit of seasoning, a bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. I'm gonna leave them there for about 20 minutes until the eggs are nicely cooked. And our last ingredient, a bit of black pudding. Again, we're gonna use that line in between our direct and indirect side. Now I'm just gonna flip our pork. Oh, that is looking good. Oh, I love when a plan comes together. I'm gonna put the lid back on and let our eggs bake. Let's have a look at our sauce. Beautiful, velvet, silky sauce. So I'm gonna blend it up. Now we're just looking for a nice smooth consistency. Get all those apples and onions. And we want to break up the mustard seeds as well so they can release their true potential. Beautiful. Just for the last little part, we're gonna remove our sausages and we're just gonna butterfly them. So we get like a nice charry caramelization. We've got that sizzle. comes to that part to assemble our blaa. Just a little spread of butter. I like to spread that pudding on nice and thick. And our lovely crispy pork belly. Now check on our sausages. They should be nice and crispy and caramelized. And a nice healthy dollop of our beautiful brown sauce. Now on the side, our baked egg. Oh, lovely, still nice and jiggly. I'm just going to top it with a bit of green in form of chive. Oh, beautiful. Look at that. That's a breakfast of champions in my eyes. That's the perfect way to start a Sunday morning. It's got it all. It's got that smokiness from the barbecue sauce, it's got that saltiness from our pork belly, crispiness from the sausage, and it's sided with the baked egg and the pepper. This is a nice breakfast. And just like that, it's lunchtime already, but I've hit my meat limit for the day. Now I've got a nice vegetarian option that's full of colour and flavour. This is my smoked chickpea hummus with grilled veggie flatbread. Now to start, I'm going to put our sieve of chickpeas directly on the coal to get that beautiful smoky char flavour we know and love. Don't relegate this just to chickpeas. Try it out with cherry tomatoes, blackberries, as long as you have a sieve you're willing to sacrifice. And at the same time, we're going to start roasting our garlic. Smallest drop of olive oil. Make sure you use a nice strong tin foil. Again, directly on the coal. And now I'm going to start on my flatbreads. Simple 3-ingredient flatbread. Some flour, some natural yogurt, and a teaspoon of baking powder. A little bit of salt. We're just going to give that a little mix until we get a nice squidgy dough. You know, this spoon is slowing me down. I'm getting my hands in. Baking on the barbecue. Who knew? We're just going to work all those together until it's nice and smooth. Now I'm just going to leave that to rest for 30 minutes and wash my hands. Now my chickpeas are lovely golden brown and they've got that beautiful little char in them. I'm just going to give them a little blend up. Time to check on our garlic. Because it's steamed as well as roasted, it's got this incredible gooiness to it now. I'm going to go straight into our blender. The smell of that garlic. I'm just going to add 1 tablespoon of tahini, a pinch of salt, a pinch of pepper, and then a teaspoon of paprika. And just to add a little bit of acid, juice of a lemon. So now I'm just going to blitz these up, make them nice and smooth. Let's have a little taste, shall we? That is everything. That is that smokiness, that char. It's a beautiful hummus. And now I'm going to roll out my flatbread. Just put down a little bit of flour to stop your dough from sticking. I'm going to take about 1/3 of that dough and make a beautiful little flatbread. Now I'm just going to roll out the dough to about 1/2 centimetre so it fits nicely on the grill. And I'm just going to pop that flatbread straight on the grill. Now I'm going to add a bit of butter, and I've made a beautiful little herb brush out of some rosemary, thyme, oregano. And all we're going to do, get some melted butter and pop it on our toasted flatbread. This is going to give us a lovely golden brown herb infused flatbread. Ooh, now that our flatbread is toasted and golden brown, we'll move on to our veggies. I'm using aubergine and courgettes. I'm going to cut the aubergines into little discs, about 1/2 centimetre. The knife is just sailing through it. I'm going to cut the courgette right down the middle, just like splitting logs. A nice healthy glug of olive oil. Bit of seasoning, some salt, some pepper. Just mix your hands. Make sure it all gets covered in. Now these are perfect summer vegetables for grilling because they're nicely time and season, plump and juicy. Over to our barbecue. And put our aubergine on a nice high heat, just enough to hear that sizzle right through. Sometimes it's not about the timing or the heat. You just want to let your food sing at you. Now I've put these aubergines just so like we're searing them. We're getting them on the hot side of the grill. And just keep a keen eye on them because these are going to cook quite quickly. And our courgettes can go directly over the coals. We want to get a nice deep char on that. Don't be scared to have a look. Even after 2 minutes, it's already starting to char. So these aubergines are beautifully colored, nice and golden. Look at that. I'm gonna flip my courgettes. I'm just gonna grate a little bit of Parmesan cheese for a nice little topping. If there's one thing I've learned in life, it's never be shy when there's cheese involved. I'm just gonna let that cook with the lid on for about 2 minutes so the cheese can melt and the cook is just gonna be complete. Now I'm gonna make the salad. Just a really simple salad of capers, walnuts, and rocket. That's it. Get our rocket. And I'm just gonna give our walnuts a little bit of a chop. A few capers. A little bit of the juice. Chop up a few capers. Give that a little bit of a mix. And now my flatbread is ready to assemble. Big old dollop. Spread it right across the base. Beautiful. I think we're in business here. Now, just like making up a little pizza, I'm gonna spread our aubergines right around the flatbread. I like to cut up my courgettes. Not too fine. Make sure to get that cheese. And topped off with our beautiful rocket, walnut, and caper salad. Now, if you want, you can add some more cheese, but is that really a question? Normally I'd use my hands, but I only need a knife and fork for this one. Let me get every little element in here now. I think I'd call that the perfect bite. Every single element of that comes through so clearly. The smokiness from the hummus, the nice sharpness from the Parmesan courgette, charred aubergine. It doesn't even need meat. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the perfect vegetarian barbecue lunch. Definitely one to try at home. The great thing about grilling, you can do it anywhere. There's nothing better than cutting off a little corner of this world and turning it into your own kitchen. Just make sure you have permission to light a fire, of course. Today, I'm heading down to the river to show you 2 simple and tasty ways to cook fish over fire. In Ireland, we've got a fear of cooking fish over fire. This blows my mind. We're an island nation. We should be cooking fish every single day of the week. So I've got 2 types of salmon here, a fillet and a fillet that I'm gonna cut into cubes and put onto skewers. Now with the fillet, I don't want to put it directly over the hot coals because we like that flaky, crumbly fish. And the perfect landing zone for our fillet of fish is a bed of citrus. Gives it a nice zesty flavor while keeping it moist. Here I'm using lemons and oranges that go great with salmon. I like to put them in between each other so you get a little taste of each. That's so beautiful. And for our cube salmon, I'm gonna use a width of about 2 fingers apart so everything stays the same size and cooks evenly. And we wanna put these on 2 skewers so they don't move around on our barbecue. Lovely. And just because we're outside doesn't mean we should forget about our hygiene. I like to bring a hot water flask so I can wash my hands. Now it's on to season our fish and give it a healthy dose of salt and pepper. And that's all we need, salt, pepper, and the seasoning from the charcoal. And a little bit of fresh air. Now, even though it's a small barbecue, I still have a direct and indirect side. This bed of citrus is gonna act as the perfect little buffer for our salmon. That salmon can go right on top. A crown fit for a king. On the side, we like some roasty, toasty tomatoes. They'll just live there until our salmon is ready. Now, we're gonna bring that salmon up to temperature. I'm just gonna close the lid and let it roast. Now, to go with our salmon, I'm gonna make a beautiful, fresh and zesty salsa. Some dill, some parsley leaves, some lemon and capers. And we'll get these parsley leaves and dill and chop them as fine as you can. We'll mix them in our bowl. And take some of the caper water and mix it in with our parsley and dill. 3 tablespoons of capers. And we just want to give them a rough chop. And into our mix. I'm going to take the juice of 1 lemon. Always give it a little roll to get all that juice out. And our last ingredient, some extra virgin olive oil. Give that a little mix with the rhythm of the river. So we're just gonna check on our salmon. That is coming along beautifully. And now for our salmon kebabs. I'm just gonna give it a little drizzle of oil, and at the same time with our leftover lemons, just run that along the grill so the salmon doesn't stick. We're gonna give it a nice high heat. Let it sizzle over our grill. Now these are gonna take no time at all, but because they're over a high heat, we wanna keep checking them to make sure they don't singe or burn. In Ireland, we have the great myth about Fionn McCool and the salmon of knowledge. And right now, every time I lick my fingers, it's starting to make sense. Grilled salmon makes you wise. I mean, this is just one of those primal things you can do. Cooking fish beside a river and the heat of a barbecue. Where else would you be? Beautiful. So the salmon is done. I'm just going to clean up and eat. Take our cherry tomatoes, which are nicely roasted. Start with our salmon fillet. And our salmon. And finish off with our fresh salsa. See how simple that is? There's absolutely no reason to be afraid of cooking fish over fire. Flaky, flaky salmon. A delicious and healthy meal cooked in the garden or on the go. Whether it's breakfast, lunch or dinner, everything tastes better when you cook it over fire. And even better with a view like this. I'll see you next time.